Imagine standing on land that didn't exist 12 years ago, land that was ocean floor, 4.5 kilometers from the nearest coastline. China didn't just build an airport here, they built the land first, and now the land is sinking. Dalian is a city hemmed in by the sea, mountains, and the hard limits of its own success. With a population of 7.5 million, it stands as one of China's great northeastern ports, a vital node where ships from Japan and South Korea unload more than 2 million containers every year. The city's waterfront pulses with cranes and stacked cargo, a living map of trade routes crisscrossing the Pacific Rim. But above this tide of commerce, a different kind of pressure has been building. The city's only airport, Zhoushuizi, was never built for an era like this. Opened in 1927, it has been stretched and expanded 5 times. Its runways lengthened, terminals modernized, each upgrade a temporary fix for a problem that never stops growing. In 2023, nearly 20 million passengers crowded its gates, so close to the airport's design limit that planners warn there is no room left for even a single extra flight at peak hours. Cargo, too, now presses against the ceiling, with annual throughput at 180,000 tons. Every landing and takeoff is a negotiation with space that no longer exists. Dalian's role as a gateway to Northeast Asia is both an opportunity and a trap. The city's economy depends on its ability to connect by sea, by rail, and increasingly by air. Yet the land around the old airport is boxed in by dense neighborhoods, railways, and the mountain's edge. There is no open field waiting to be paved, no farmland to convert. The only direction left is outward, across the water. City planners, faced with relentless demand and nowhere to grow, began to imagine the unthinkable. Not just a new airport, but a new continent built from the sea itself. In September 2005, Dalian city leaders made an announcement that stunned even seasoned engineers. The new airport would not be carved from farmland or industrial sprawl, but would rise from the sea itself, 4.5 kilometers offshore, on an artificial island in Jinzhouwan Bay. The audacity of this decision rippled through planning circles across China. Official documents folded the offshore airport into the National 5-Year Transport Plan, giving the idea the weight of state policy. Within weeks, the project appeared in Dalian's own catalog of key projects, transforming what many saw as a last resort into a government mandate. For the city's decision-makers, the choice was not simply about ambition. Every alternative, expanding the cramped Zhoushuizi site, tunneling beneath the city, or shifting operations to a distant outpost, collapsed under the realities of geography and growth. The city's planners, faced with a wall of mountains and a sea of concrete, saw no other way forward. The only open space left was the water itself, a blank page big enough for dreams and disasters alike. The technical objections came quickly. Engineers warned of the soft marine clay beneath Jinzhouwan Bay, of long-term settlements and the risk of building on ground that might never fully stop moving. But the promise of a world-class air hub, capable of handling the future surge in passengers and cargo, proved irresistible. The municipal government's own records show that these warnings were acknowledged, weighed, and ultimately set aside. The order was given. Dalian would build not just an airport, but a new continent, one that would test the limits of human resolve against the indifference of the sea. In 2012, a fleet of dredgers began a task that defies belief: to build a new continent from the floor of Jinzhouwan Bay. The numbers alone stagger the imagination. Over 12 years, more than 187 million cubic meters of sand, silt, and rock were lifted from the seabed and poured into the sea, shaping an island where none had existed before. By 2024, the reclamation was declared complete. The artificial land now stretches 20.87 square kilometers, a footprint larger than the world's most famous offshore airports combined. To picture the scale, imagine 2,700 football fields laid side by side, every blade of grass replaced by engineered earth. The operation unfolded day and night under the command of captains like Wang Jianhua, who oversaw the flagship dredgers Dalian 1 and Jinzhou 2. Their vessels moved with the precision of clockwork, guided by satellite and sonar, each load of fill calculated to the meter. The lead contractor, China State Construction Engineering Corporation, coordinated thousands of workers, engineers, and mariners, orchestrating a choreography of barges, pumps, and cranes. The ocean, restless and unmoved, watched as the shoreline crept outward, kilometer after kilometer, until the new island stood 4.5 kilometers from the old city's edge. By the end of the 12th year, the last bucket of fill was dropped, and the world's largest offshore airport platform emerged from the surf. For a brief moment, it looked as if human ambition had bent the sea to its will, an industrial spectacle on a scale few have ever witnessed. Beneath the engineered surface of Jinzhou Bay's new land, the ocean remembers its own history. What lies underfoot is not the solid ground of a continent, but a thick, saturated clay, 20 to 30 meters deep, laid down over millennia by tides and river mouths. Every ton of sand and rock poured into the sea presses down on this ancient layer, forcing water out, squeezing the ground, and setting in motion a process no human can fully control. In the first years after reclamation, satellite-based INSAR studies began to pick up a subtle but unmistakable movement. The island, so recently conjured from the sea, was already sinking. Measured subsidence reached up to minus 100 millimeters per year in the most recently filled areas, with an average of minus 80 millimeters where the fill was thickest, far beyond what designers had predicted. Over some zones, more than 300 millimeters of vertical loss has already accumulated, a slow-motion deformation visible only through remote sensing and careful leveling. Professor Zhang Wei, a geotechnical specialist at Dalian University of Technology, reviewed the latest deformation maps and pointed to the real culprit: the clay's high compressibility and low permeability, which guarantee that settlement will continue for years. But the clay is only part of the story. In 22.5% of boreholes, engineers discovered karst cavities, hidden voids in the bedrock that threatened sudden, uneven collapse. The ground beneath the airport is not a uniform slab, but a patchwork of potential weakness. No one can ignore the warning from history. At Kansai International Airport in Japan, a similar offshore platform has sunk more than 11 meters since it opened, with annual maintenance bills in the hundreds of millions. Dalian's island, larger and heavier, now faces the same question. How do you keep an airport afloat on a sea that never forgets? The battle to keep Dalian's new island from sinking is fought deep below the surface, with a forest of reinforced concrete piles, 3,000 in total, driven more than 80 meters down, past the soft clay and into bedrock. Each pile is as long as a 25-story building is tall. Above them, engineers layered a foundation like a sandwich, compacted sand, a geotextile membrane, and a thick concrete raft, all designed to spread the weight of runways and terminals across ground that was once the sea. But no amount of concrete can guarantee stillness. 200 sensors wired into the heart of the island send hourly reports to a central control room. Every shift in the earth, every fraction of a millimeter is tracked in real time. As Chief Engineer Li Xiang once told state media, "We manage the movement, we do not stop it." The system buys time, but it cannot promise certainty. Plans for Dalian Jinzhou Bay International Airport stretch beyond anything the city has ever attempted. The master plan calls for 4 parallel runways, each long enough to handle the world's largest jets, and a terminal complex covering 900,000 square meters, an expanse greater than 120 football fields. When finished, the airport is designed to serve up to 80 million passengers a year, vaulting Dalian into the ranks of Asia's major aviation hubs. Beneath the sea, engineers will bore a 15-kilometer rail tunnel, linking the offshore island to the mainland's high-speed network. The budget for just the first phase stands at $15 billion, with full commercial operations targeted for 2035. On paper, the numbers are staggering, a testament to the scale of China's ambition. Yet for all the confidence in blueprints and projections, the outcome is far from certain. The airport's future now hangs between the promise of a new era and the possibility that the sea, patient and unyielding, may yet have the final word. Tonight, engineers battle the sea with steel and vision. Yet every millimeter the island sinks is a reminder: nature sets the final terms. As planes prepare to land on Earth that wasn't there before, one question remains: Can ambition outlast the ocean's patience? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.